Hi, Amber, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you and I'm ready to go whenever you are. Can you hear me? Karina, can you
That's
hear
weird.
me?
It says you're talking, but I can't hear you.
Do you have your volume? Well, can you hear me? Hello? Avora, can you hear me?
I can hear both of you, so I'm not sure where the problem is.
Ask Karina if she can hear you. I think it's probably that her volume is off.
Karina, Karina, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Weird, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. I think the problem was on my end.
Okay, well, that's what Avora and I were discussing. Okay, okay, sounds good. Well, I'm ready whenever you are.
Yeah, they put a new speaker in here and it's throwing me all off. And I am ready to go when you are. So
Okay, that sounds good. We've got a few. Oh, wait, we start at 12:25, not 12:30. So we only have a couple more minutes, but we have hardly anyone here. So I will not start until the last second.
okay, no worries. I'll be ready.
Okay, so it's 12:25 and I know we're waiting for council to come in, but I'm gonna go ahead and get the meeting started, and hopefully by the time we do roll, we'll have more people here. I am going to call to order the Climate Conservation and Parks Committee for August 3rd. We continue to meet virtually. You can join us at www.ci.missoula.mt.us/webcast. You can also leave all of council a voicemail at 406-552-6012 or an email at council@ci.missoula.mt.us. We will be back in person for our committee meetings, assuming things don't blow up again in September. The council chambers will be free for us to be there, so we look forward to that. Let's see. Karina, you want to go ahead and do roll? We don't have a whole lot of people, but they're still coming in.
Okay, let's try this. Anderson. Stacy is not here. Becerra.
Actually, I think I can just tell you right now, we have Gwen, Jennifer Savage.
Sandra. Gwen. Kristen. No, Kristen's not here.
No.
John Contos just came in. Cheryl Savage. West. So I have Contos, Jones, Savage, Cheryl, and Viseca.
Yeah, I think that's right. So, yeah, and we'll just Did I hear someone else say they? Okay, we'll just keep watching.
Okay.
Just things moving because we don't have a whole lot of time in this meeting. We have minutes from the 20th of July. Are there any changes to those minutes? Seeing no changes, those will stand approved, but with the notation that there was not a quorum here. And please mark Jordan Hess as present as well. So we'll approve the minutes with that notation. We are available, I'll go ahead and take public comment. If you have public comment on items that are not on the agenda, now would be the time to raise your hand. Okay, I see no raised hands in the audience. So I am going to go to our first, let's see if we have anyone else here. Nope, no one else is here yet. So I'm going to go to our first, the first item on our agenda, which is the reappointment to the Energy and Climate Team. This is to reappoint Jeremy Flesh as a regular member and Chad Bauer as an alternate member to the Energy and Climate Team. Jeremy has been a big contributor to the team for many, many years. We're excited that he's interested in continuing. And as you probably all remember, Chad Bauer was appointed to that committee not too long ago to serve out the remainder of a term. And we are excited to keep him as well. Gwen, go ahead.
So I'm happy to make the motion and speak to it a little bit, if that's appropriate.
That would be great. We have no one in the attendees, so I'm not going to go to public comment on that because we have no public. So go ahead.
Great. I will just say that Jeremy Flesh expressed great interest in the climate team starting several years ago and voluntarily attended all of the meetings for a couple of years before he was even appointed, and has been great on the team. And I think Chad Bauer brings a great sector of expertise also to the team. So I'm really happy to appoint both of them. And I would note, I don't know that you have a quorum, so you might need to note that for the record. If it just FYI.
Yeah, thanks. I do believe that you are correct that we do not have a quorum. But I will go ahead. I mean, I think I'll go ahead and just do a roll call vote on this, Karina, and then we will make a notation that we did not have a quorum. I mean, I think that's appropriate at this point.
Yes. Contos.
Yes.
Contos votes yes. Hess.
Yes.
Hess votes yes. Jones.
Yes.
Jones votes yes. Savage.
Yes.
Savage votes yes. Cheryl.
Yes.
Cheryl votes yes. Vaseka.
Yes.
Vaseka votes yes. That is 6 yeses and no nos.
Okay, that's great. And I think that can go ahead and go on the consent agenda with the notation that we did not have a quorum for that vote. Let's see. And Mike Nugent just arrived. So let's mark him as present as well. And we will go on to the 3.2, which is Vora Glenn is here to tell us about the Public Service Commission rule changes. And Vora, I'll just let you take it.
Wonderful. Thank you, Amber. For those of you who don't know me, I am Vora Glenn, the Energy Program Specialist on the Climate Action Team for the City of Missoula. And like Amber mentioned, I'm here today on more of an informational update. So I'm going to be sharing a brief description of a joint public comment that we in the city are joining on the Public Service Commission docket regarding the rules that regulate intervention. So this is a joint public comment with the City of Missoula, Missoula County, and the City of Bozeman. And we're engaging in this public comment opportunity because we each have a vested interest in the Public Service Commission proceedings, which impact our affordability of our energy and our ability to achieve our common policy goals. So the Commission has stated that the purpose of this docket is to modernize and simplify existing intervention rules. Generally, we support the goal of streamlining processes and administrative language when prudent. We note that most of the proposed language is a rewording or summation of existing administrative rules and largely mirrors the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission's existing federal code. So that's in alignment with those initial objectives. We do make a couple key noteworthy exceptions, and that's for Section 8 and Section 3. So Section 8 describes the power of the Public Service Commission to limit the participation of interveners for specific purposes and in specific ways. The new proposed language broadens both of those aspects of the rule to an extent that, regardless of the initial intent, in practice could give the Commission an undefined and ambiguous amount of leeway to alter the participation of intervening parties. So we suggest that Section 8 be reworded to provide additional clarity and definition so that all parties involved have a better understanding of the powers the Commission will have if limiting participation. In Section 3, we also suggest some rewording. The current proposed language indicates a party must be presently and directly affected by the outcome of the proceeding in order to intervene. Now, we suggest this language be altered to align with the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission's language, which allows a party that may be affected to participate as an intervener and explore the extent possible that the proceedings will have an impact on them. So it is our view that the Public Service Commission contested case dockets are best served by numerous and varied voices that can bring unique considerations and perspectives to bear, especially because the proceedings have such important and far-reaching impacts. And it's for these reasons that we make the aforementioned suggestions. Where we currently are in this process is we have a letter for public comment that you all should have access to, that we're currently circulating for endorsement by each of the joint communities or the communities joining this comment. And we intend to submit that by the written comment deadline of August 8th. Again, this is just an informational update. We're not requesting any action from council at this time, but we did want to ensure that council is aware of this process and ensure you all have opportunity to ask questions if you have any. So with that, I'll just open it up to questions if there are any.
Yeah, thanks, Avora. And I appreciate that. I had read through, hold on. Sorry, someone was talking behind me. I had read through this and had some kind of concerns about the items that you brought forth, and the idea that the Public Service Commission, that they don't have it as broad as, parties that may be affected, because when we're talking about climate change and we're talking about energy and those things, proving that you are an interested party and or that you're affected, that concerns me. So I like that change. Are there any questions or from council on this item? I do not see any questions. It's an informational item only. I am going to go ahead and so we don't need a motion. If you have any comments, council, you're welcome to make those, and I'll also open it up for public comment on this. Let's see, I have someone. Okay, Gwen, go ahead.
Oh, I didn't really have any questions. I read through all of it. It all makes a lot of sense to me. And I was just thinking back on our water condemnation case and our interactions with the PSC on that. And there was, I believe, when Carlisle sold to Algonquin Liberty and went outside of the PSC, and the PSC brought an action. I think the city intervened in that. It happens. It's a real thing. It happens. And of course, Our water is not under it's not under private ownership anymore. We have it, but Northwestern Energy, of course, is the really big player that the PSC is constantly interacting with and regulating on, and super important to have voices heard on those issues, especially as we are really trying to move forward into renewable energy. So I think these are good comments, and I'm supportive of the letter.
Yeah, thanks, Lynn. Yeah, I agree. I appreciate your thorough review of that and the different communities signing on. I think that's great. I'm going to go, if the public has public comment on this item, feel free to raise your hand. Okay, so I don't see any public comment. I don't see any counselors' hands raised. So we're gonna let you go rather quickly here, Avora. But I know that that getting to this point took some thorough review of those changes, and I appreciate the thoughtful comments, and I think they're important to make. And hopefully, the PSC will have some consideration of these comments and it maybe change some of the rules. So thanks, Avora. I'm going to keep moving on because we have a short committee here. And we have one more item we need to get to. Let's see, and that item is David should be here, and it's the Playfair Tennis Court Reconstruction Project, which I know lots of tennis players around town are excited to get moving. So, David, why don't you take it from here?
Greetings, I'm present, but I'm having difficulty with my video screen. And so I'll just get right to it then. The Playfair Park tennis courts are failing. They're about 20 some odd years old and they need to be replaced. With the construction market as it is, we were unable to secure any bids through the normal bidding process. And subsequently, we were contacted by Western Excavating, indicating that they were looking for projects because they'd had their brand new asphalt plant up and running. We subsequently have used the direct negotiation method to select them to enter into a contract for 1.2 million and change to reconstruct this, given the time of year and the importance of these courts to high school tennis and the rest of our community. We have an interesting schedule where this would not be completed until next June or July, but it would be reopened to serve high school tennis season, March through the 1st of June. The courts are proposed to be an asphalt-based course, which should give us quite a few years of serviceability. The subcontractors are Montana-based, so we're glad that most of the money is going to stick around the community. And with that, I would respond to any questions. Garrick Swanson is with me today. We're collaborating on this project. We do have one change. We noted in the project manual that we had accidentally crossed out the standards for asphalt in the final contract. That will not be crossed out. Those were specifically negotiated with Western. With that, I stand for questions.
Yeah, thanks, David. And Karina, if we could mark Mirta and Heidi as present as well, that would be great. I think I already said, Mike, we started fairly quickly here. Okay, so I have some questions. Sandra, I think you were first. So Sandra, go ahead.
Thanks. I know, Amber, you say that volleyball is the best sport, but I disagree because I believe tennis is the best sport. So I believe I could speak for all the tennis community that these courts definitely need to be redone and fixed. And so I would be very happy to make this motion.
Thanks, and we'll debate that in another time. I do like tennis too. Thank you for getting the motion on the floor. And because we have a motion on the floor, I am going to go to public comment on this item. If you have public comment, please raise your hand. Anyone in the audience? I think I only see one person here. Okay, so I'm going to go back to council. Gwen, go ahead.
Okay, thanks. I sat through a lot of tennis court meetings the last couple of years, and volleyball is awesome, but Sandra, tennis is also awesome. So I am a house divided on that one, but that's a good problem to have, right? So David, I did have a couple questions. First of all, these need to be competition level tennis courts because there are tournaments held on them. So for, yeah, the cracks that we've had, you know, they absolutely need to be redone. And some of them have not been usable for the last couple of years. And I know that our high schools have been super flexible and run their practices at different times and different areas around town, just making it work while we figured this out on our end. But since these need to be competition level, they've got to be really, really good, really, really smooth. And I just wanted to, did you have any thoughts on Western Excavating being able to do this quality of work?
We have no concerns with Western. They are one of maybe 3 companies in the community that even a certified tennis builder would be using. Okay. Western will be using their GPS equipped grading equipment to ensure that the base is as smooth and as compacted as it needs to be. That's where everything starts with asphalt. We have Koch tennis court services are subcontractors to Western. Koch is a certified builder. He's not responsible for the courts, but I'll tell you, he'll let us know if they're off any at all. And we're also securing additional services for construction staking. And those will be, that information will be fed right into the GPS on the grading equipment. Paving is going to be done in 2 lifts. First lift, obviously, if there are any imperfections, we'll identify those and fix those if they're small bird bass, and we should have wonderful courts by this time next year.
Awesome, thank you so much. And then I had a second question, which was in some of the documentation attached to the agenda today. It talked about the cost of the Playfair tennis courts is $3.1 million, but this is a $1.2 million and change bid here. And I just wanted to clarify what the $3 million was referring to. I believe it's concrete, not asphalt, and we just couldn't make that work with the budget, is my understanding. So we're doing asphalt. And could you speak to that a little bit so everybody understands?
Yes, Councilmember Jones, you are correct. The 3.1 million, which was our original goal, was to build these in as post-tension concrete courts. There's some advantages for longevity and the like. We were funded for asphalt courts, and we're pleased to be able to bring this in within the budget in what is basically difficult times for the construction market, materials markets.
Great, thanks. Yeah, and so the concrete can last 50 years. Asphalt is like 20 years-ish is my understanding with our freeze thaw cycle. But I can tell you on the other side, anybody over 25, if they play on concrete after a while, you really feel it in your knees. So it's just, in some ways, asphalt is more forgiving, and that's kind of nice. The last comment I just wanted to make was, I did see through a lot of meetings as we queued this up the last couple of years, and we were talking with and collaborating with the private sector to see if there could be an expansion. That was a heavy lift fundraising wise, because the city really could only bring so much money to this, because as we're in the middle of budget season, it is, we're strapped. And we're going to be looking at a tax raise this year. And so that's part of the reason why we're doing asphalt, not concrete, is to just be reasonable in our expenditures and prudent. I do think with these courts, David, you referenced it, we still will need some collaboration from the private sector to kind of put the finishing touches on them next summer. And I am happy to meet, as always, with the private sector to discuss those fundraising efforts to make these courts just look fantastic. So I just want to put that out there. But in the meantime, I'm thrilled that we're going to get these built. And in the springtime, the high school tennis teams can use them for practice and tournaments. That's all I'm going to dominate this meeting with. Thank you.
Thanks, Gwen. I don't see any other hands up. So Karina, you want to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this?
Becerra.
Yes.
Becerra votes yes. Contos.
Yes.
Contos votes yes. Hess.
Yes.
Hess votes yes. Jones.
Yes.
Jones votes yes. Mike Nugent.
Yes.
Mike Nugent votes yes. Savage.
Yes.
Savage votes yes. Cheryl.
Yes.
Cheryl votes yes. Vaseka.
Yes.
Vaseka votes yes. West.
Yes.
West votes yes. That is 9 yeses and no nos.
That's great. That can go on the consent agenda. And obviously we have a quorum for this one. That is our last item on this. I was worried about being on time, but it went a little faster than I thought. So thank you, David. And we will be adjourned.